March 21, Mowers Charge. On the afternoon of March 21, 1865, Union General Joseph A. Mower's division of the 17th Corps broke through General Joseph E. Johnston's thinly held left flank and moved to cut off the Confederates' only route of retreat across a flooded Mill Creek. The man Johnston entrusted with collecting a force to oppose the Federals was General William J. Hardee, nicknamed Old Reliable by his troops, whom he had commanded for most of the war. Hardee was widely regarded as the Army of Tennessee's finest corps commander. On March 16, 1865, Hardee had acquitted himself superbly in his only independent combat command of the war, leading his heavily outnumbered force in a hard-fought delaying action near Averysboro, North Carolina. His success in halting Sherman's advance for a full day made possible Johnston's assault on the Union left wing at Bentonville 3 days later, and Hardee's conduct at Bentonville on March 19 was nothing short of heroic. When his advancing troops faltered before a large open field as they glimpsed a line of Union soldiers drawn up along the opposite tree line, Hardee rode into the field and in full view of the Federals waved his men forward, resuming the charge. On March 21, however, Hardee may well have faced his greatest challenge yet in having to stop Mower's juggernaut with a hodgepodge force. If nothing else, the timing of Hardee's counterattack was fortuitous. As the cheering Union skirmishers reached the edge of Bentonville just a few hundred yards shy of Mill Creek Bridge, they collided with Cummings' brigade of Georgia infantry. Moments later, the Federal skirmish line was struck on the right flank by Young's cavalry brigade under General Wade Hampton. On the right of Cummings' brigade, General Hardee himself led the 4th Tennessee and the 8th Texas Cavalry regiments in a wild charge that drove a wedge between Mower's two brigades. Hardee was closely followed by his 16-year-old son, Willie, the Texans' newest recruit. Just hours before, Willie had obtained his father's grudging permission to join the 8th Texas. Attacking the left of Mower's line were soldiers of the Army of Tennessee led by General Benjamin F. Cheatham and some Alabama and Tennessee horsemen led by General Joseph Wheeler. The hastily assembled Confederate force succeeded in stalling Mower's charge and thus saved Johnston's army from possible destruction. Meanwhile, Mower rallied his two brigades, brought up a fresh supply of ammunition, and prepared to attack again. Then orders from Sherman arrived directing Mower to break off the attack and withdraw to the main Union line. Sherman later regretted his decision to recall Mower. "I think I made a mistake there," he admitted, "and should rapidly have followed Mower's lead with the whole of the right wing, which would have brought on a general battle, and it could not have resulted other than successfully to us by reason of our vastly superior numbers." If Mower was disappointed by the outcome of his charge, his Confederate counterpart, General Hardee, was thoroughly delighted. As Hardee trotted to the rear, he turned to General Hampton and said, "That was nip and tuck, and for a time I thought Tuck had it." But Hardee's moment of triumph abruptly turned to tragedy as he saw his son Willie slumped over in his saddle, held up by a comrade who rode behind him. The youth had received a mortal chest wound and would die just a few days later. At least one Union soldier mourned the death of Willie Hardee. During the 1850s, the boy's father had befriended a young lieutenant who later rose to major general in the Union Army. That officer was Oliver O. Howard, the commander of the right wing of Sherman's army, which included Mower's division. As the commandant of cadets at West Point, Hardee had entrusted Howard, a lowly assistant professor of mathematics, with tutoring his son. Howard received the news of Willie's death from a West Point classmate, General Stephen D. Lee, one of Johnston's corps commanders. Mower's charge convinced Johnston to withdraw his army from Bentonville on the night of March 21. The Army of the South marched to Smithfield on the 22nd, while Sherman's army reached Goldsboro on the 23rd and 24th. At Bentonville, Sherman and Johnston had fought their last battle. Just 1 month later, Johnston would surrender to Sherman at the Bennett Place near Durham Station, ending the war in North Carolina.